Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon, not here with Geeky Sparkles in this video. We're going to talk about Stephen Colbert and this big protest they had outside of CBS headquarters. Yeah, 20 people showed up. So I don't think people are feeling really bad for these poor displaced millionaires. Let's talk about this. It's kind of embarrassing, really. It really is kind of embarrassing. So before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Check out news.clownfishtv.com for more podcasts and news. And this is coming from the New York Post. So this whole "we're with Colbert" rally, right? Only 20 people showed up. This is kind of like when they were protesting Disney World too, and there was like one guy. I mean, you got to give him props for trying, right? Like, but there's like one guy with his sign and his flags and whatever. We're going to protest Disney because of Reedy Creek and because of the "Don't Say Gay" bill. And yeah, it's like, look, I think online outrage does not correlate to real world outrage, right? Most people don't care. They're like, oh, Colbert's getting canceled? I thought it already was. Or Colbert's getting canceled? I really don't care. There's lots of other stuff to watch. But the controversy has been good for business. Forbes says that the ratings are soaring after the show got canceled. Maybe that was the point. Now, remember, guys, the reason that we're being given for the cancellation of Colbert isn't necessarily political. It's because the show was losing $40 to $50 million a year. They have 200 people on staff. They're expensive, but everybody's checking out Colbert now that he's going to get canceled. Let's look at this protest, though. This is coming from New York Post. New York City's "We're with Colbert" rally for late night host is a bust with just 20 protesters. A Big Apple rally in support of On His Way Out late show host Stephen Colbert drew fewer than 24 people on Sunday, with even the NYPD cops on the scene quickly calling it a day since most of the demonstrators left after just a few minutes. They didn't even want to be there. They didn't even want the embarrassment of being there more than a couple of minutes. Organizers said the "We're with Colbert" gathering outside the CBS headquarters on Manhattan's West Side. They said it was meant to be part of a nationwide call for integrity. Lasted a couple of minutes. "Our country is not perfect. It never has been," said the event's organizer, who would only identify himself as Matt, and said his nickname is Slim. CBS said declining viewership and diminishing profit led to its decision to end the show in May of 2026, effectively firing the 61-year-old talk show host, but critics claim the network bowed to pressure from Trump. Yeah, I mean, maybe. And we've talked about this before. I mean, that probably was a tipping point, but when you're already losing $40 to $50 million a year and Paramount has to merge with Skydance because they're dying, and if they don't merge with Skydance, there's no more Paramount, there's no more CBS at all. But let's just keep shoveling millions of dollars into the oven, right? CBS's parent company finalized an $8.4 billion merger with Skydance. Shortly after Colbert was told he was on his last season, the merger required federal approval. Colbert has also been among the top talk show hosts who routinely roast Trump. This is the First Amendment attack. A protester who refused to give her name said of the closing down of the show, "We can't stand for that." Well, you didn't have to stand very long. You left after a couple of minutes. Colbert has also come under fire for featuring predominantly left-leaning guests. Yeah, it's very much a left-leaning show. And again, back to what Jay Leno said. He said, anytime you go political, one side of the aisle or the other, you alienate half of your audience. So this has come from Time. They said Colbert is practically daring CBS to shut him down early. So I wondered if this was going to be a potential scenario because he is going out there whacking the beehive. I wonder if when the Skydance deal is finalized and they take control, I want to say the 8th of August. It's early August. I wonder if they're going to come in and be like, you know what? Yeah, you're gone. You're gone now. But there probably is some kind of clause in his contract that if they get rid of him, they have to pay him, umpteen millions of dollars. But who knows? It said, since the announcement, Colbert has been ripping into Donald Trump with renewed relish, often while also flailing, jeez. While also flailing around, flailing his arms and dancing with a bunch of hypodermic needles. No. While also flaying CBS and its parent company, Paramount, by doubling down on attacking his most powerful enemy at a time when network executives are facing such intense scrutiny for what many believe was a politically motivated firing. He isn't just making the most of the 10 months he has left, he's essentially daring his bosses to kill the show sooner. So this comes from Time. They said, think an expensive contract would be enough to keep a host judged to be a liability on the air. Kindly recall NBC's Megyn Kelly debacle of 2018. If they take the bait, Colbert will have his most damning evidence yet. What they called a purely financial decision was, at least in part, political. Well, if he is going to, because they're putting somebody in charge, I guess, of the CBS News from Paramount and Skydance. This guy's going to be an overseer, and he's going to make sure there's no DEI or anything like that. So, yeah, I mean, if he keeps whacking the beehive, they might say, hey, you're a liability. You're going to cost us advertisers. You're going to potentially get sued. And, but also, again, if the ratings are going up, they might be like, yeah, you know what? Just keep at it. Because we can juice those advertisers for as much as we can. I don't know how it's going to go down. So, yeah, I mean, he could open himself up to getting fired sooner. I have no idea. So this is coming from Forbes as well. They said the Skydance Paramount deal approved, but the drama is just beginning. Yeah, I think there's going to be months and months and months of drama. I think as stuff gets canceled, because every time there's a merger like this, stuff gets canceled, people get displaced. I could totally see this blown back on them, and just the media screaming about it, especially if CBS gets a quote unquote course correction. They said Skydance and the rest of the media world can expect a whole lot more turbulence in the skies ahead, even though they did get this approved. Here are just a few of the pockets worth watching out for. Okay, they said the political turbulence. What happens when Trump keeps calling? They said this commitment to unbiased journalism. The deal requires that both news and entertainment programming at CBS will embody a diversity of viewpoints across the political and ideological spectrum, and that CBS's reporting will be fair, unbiased, and fact-based. Translation, we also want conservatives on the air. That's what it means. Ensures that discriminatory DEI policies end. Skydance must commit that it will not establish any DEI initiatives at the new company. The new Paramount must be committed to equal opportunity and non-discrimination. They said, remember when Republicans argued for less government interference in business? Yeah, I do. I do. But, in this case, it's like, how do you fight unfair practices? It's like you almost need to do some lawful, I guess, and you need to this is why I think we're seeing so many defamation suits now, because for the longest time people turned the other cheek, and it really, all that happened was things got worse because you just kind of let people get away with it and get away with it and get away with it. And I always tell people, the biggest mistake you can make is assuming that your enemy or your competitor or whatever is going to fight fair, and that is seldom the case. So just because you have a certain code of ethics or you wouldn't do this doesn't mean that they won't do it. So you kind of have to preemptively prepare for that, right? That's just my personal opinion on it. Trump said the attack on DEI policies is hardly limited to Skydance and Paramount. For whatever you may think of such policies, it's the Trump administration that will now render its judgment as to whether Paramount is sufficiently committed to non-discrimination. This is the corporate structure turbulence. This is what the company is going to look like. Okay, so they're probably going to get rid of a lot of their TV networks. They claim it will unleash $1.5 billion in new spending from Skydance on enhancing all aspects of their operations. They said that Paramount is going to be a tech hybrid, leveraging a new studio in the cloud and AI. The first announcement on this front was that Paramount would pay Oracle, chaired by Larry Ellison, $100 million to subsidize its cloud infrastructure. Of course. Although Paramount's cable networks have received little public attention throughout the deal, this is a huge area ready for restructuring. Yeah, what's going to happen to all those TV channels? Comedy Central, MTV, Nickelodeon. I think a lot of them are going to get gone. I mean, we did a video the other day talking about Cartoon Network, that Comcast is dropping it from their basic cable package. I just don't think anybody cares. What happens is the insults turn inward. What is going to happen? Because a lot of the people working at Paramount are not happy with the whole CBS thing. You got South Park and Jon Stewart, and yeah, I don't know. So what happens when members of the new Paramount family, quote unquote, start to badmouth not only the Trump administration, but the leadership of the company itself? Well, you quit, you leave. In The Godfather, when Sonny Corleone tells Michael that he's taking their father's assassination attempt way too personally, Michael famously tells him about retaliation. It's not personal, it's strictly business. But is it? Again, this is coming from Forbes. It said, it gets pretty uncomfortable to be the constant butt of jokes from your own employees. I remember my days at NBC seeing the unhinged reaction of very senior NBC News executives. Very senior NBC News executive to shock jock Don Imus. He got canceled too. They died. The show was simulcast on MSNBC, going after him on air. It wasn't pretty when yours truly had to try to put out that fire. So this is Howard Hominoff. Okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of people are going to leave. I think they're going to show them the door. And I think they're going to be like, don't let the door hit you on the way out. I think a lot of these people are going to wind up with podcast deals or something. They're going to leave because this whole system is collapsing. All of it daily. It's not good. It's not good to be in this industry right now. I don't think. Working at a legacy studio, I mean, the sand is giving way under your feet. I think a lot of people are going to try to jump to new media, or they might just nope out completely. They might just decide, hey, I don't want to do this anymore. I made my money. I can't compete with the robots, so it's time to go. I don't know. But there we go, guys. 20 people in New York upset. Colbert is getting canceled. They just want to see what he says next, I guess. I'm going to wrap it up. Please subscribe. We'll talk later. For more pop culture news, views, and rants, go to news.clownfishtv.com. That's news.clownfishtv.com.